Little loudspeaker, it's time for class. What are you doing?
Editor, I think it's awesome that we learned so many different types of chords lately, but a lot of them are very similar and I get them mixed up. I need to label them.
This is not an exam cheat sheet. What's the use of marking them? You feel like you suddenly learned many types of chords and are afraid it's like a bear you can't handle. That's an unnecessary worry. We don't want everyone to commit all the chords to rote memorization. There's a method to learning them. Then you must practice all these chords that editor has taught you until you know them very well. That will suffice. We look at the musical notation to play, so as long as you know the types of chords there are, remember the fingering, then when you see them appear in the notation, your brain will instantly respond to them well.
Editor, please perform for us. We've already started practicing songs, but during the lesson, editor only demonstrates fingering parts. Please fulfill all of the EOP Demon Training Camp's members' wishes and play a small song for us.
This is no problem. During class, we don't demonstrate too many songs because class time is limited. I'll demonstrate one of last time's practice songs, Dan Yuan, for everyone.
Wow, all of us little students are stunned. Editor plays really extraordinarily. Your rhythm is more steady than mine and you don't play as stiffly as I do. I highly worship you.
Uneven rhythm occurs when there's a break in between two notes due to not enough practice. As you're playing stiffly and without emotion, this is because when you're playing, the brain knows how to use the hands to play, but not the intoxication of the melody. You must use your heart to feel the music. In short, all of the mentioned problems can be solved in one way, with lots of practice. It's like when we first started memorizing multiplication tables, our brain was nervously turning and calculating fervently. With more practice, we made the tables a habit, so it's easy. If I asked you now any simple multiplication question, you would definitely be able to answer it without calculating. This is the result of skillful practice. It's the same with playing piano. Once you become skilled at playing it, you'll be able to use your brain to do other things at the same time.
That is so accurate. That is enlightenment that will lead a donkey. I will practice, practice, and practice more. I worship you again.
Okay, back to the topic. Let's start today's lesson. First, open your notation to today's practice song and listen along to my demonstration.
We seem to have learned these types of chords before, but it also seems a bit different from the chords before.
Can you figure out the left hand's fingering?
For example, in the third section, the pinky positions to play the root note So, index finger plays the fifth note Re, and middle finger plays the third note Ti.
Exactly. Let me teach everyone some fingering experience. For example, our commonly seen Do Mi Sol uses the pinky, middle finger, and index finger. If after Sol there is La, or before Sol there is Fa, how should we play it? Many students whose thumb is not as flexible might be used to using index finger to play these two keys. This is what we call expanding your fingers to play. Actually, unless you're playing this way as in unusual circumstances, you must try to play it like this less, because expanding your fingers to play will slow the rate at which you play, and you also want to avoid using one finger to play two keys in a row. You must use your thumb to help in this situation. That's why we practiced our thumb flexibility 10 lessons ago.
Under normal circumstances, according to the TV drama scene, the following should be said.
But in today's practice song, So, 1 and 2 octaves lower are in the same column on the keyboard. If we don't use the same finger to play it, then it will actually slow our playing speed and will also affect the fingering of the following keys. So in these situations where there's an octave difference in notes, we should use the same finger to play them. We should use the pinky of playing from so 2 octaves lower to so 1 octave lower. This fingering method is called jumping. Jumping is a very important playing skill in piano fingering. In the fourth section and the last section, there is the passing note re. We've spoken about passing notes in the last 3 lessons. In the C triad, we use the ring finger to play re. There are many notes that are 2 octaves higher on the right side. We'll use what we learned in lesson 16 and raise the right hand side an octave higher so it will be easier to play. In the third section, there are 4 16th notes on the right hand side. The left hand plays 1 note while the right hand finishes 2 notes. The right hand plays very quickly here. Everyone should isolate sections 3 and 4 and practice them more. Now, let's take a look at today's assignment. Many students who followed along with Little Loudspeaker and EOP Demon Training Camp have felt that today's assignment 2 is too difficult. They can't find the keys and don't know the fingering.
Once before, now that I think about it, I don't even know why I found it difficult back then or didn't know the fingering. Now I find the assignment so easy.
Of course, you're now a graduate of the first EOP Demon Training Camp. If you still felt this practice song was hard, the organization would not know how to evaluate you. Let's analyze why you felt this was so difficult at first. Firstly, in this song, there is the appearance of triplets. Many students are not familiar with the rhythm of triplets, so it will be difficult to play. The right hand is already difficult in addition to the many changes in the left hand, so naturally the piece is hard to play. Actually, triplets are not the hard part. You just need to remember that you must play triplets with an even rhythm. On the left-hand side, many students can't smoothly use the skills previously learned. We mentioned when there are many high octave notes or when there are many notes that are 2 octaves higher to raise everything up 1 octave. Same idea for lower octave notes. In this song, there's a note 3 octaves lower on the left-hand side. Many students will want to take the key change for granted. This will be the end of you. Instead, just lower the left-hand side an octave, then you will simply solve the problem. Another problem is not being able to find the fingering in the second to the last section. The first 4 notes are part of the second triad, so it's simple. We can use the invincible chord fingering method to play this. Following that are do, re, and we are left with the thumb. The do, re here are too far away, however, and there is also a do, re in the row above. We can use the pinky to play do 1 row up, then use the ring finger to play re. It works also if we don't have to play the following do and re. Let's look at the last 5 notes. Re, fa, la, do, re. They are ordered from low to high, and they are in the same row. Can you figure out what skills we've learned before that can help us?
Oh, in lesson 4, left-hand jump notes. There are 5 notes that corresponded to all 5 fingers.
Little Loudspeaker, you're definitely becoming an apprentice. Yes, that is the skill we need, expanding fingers to play. Use the fingering methods you're most used to.
Wow, it really is a flexible application of skills. After learning those, now I can really play. It's just that I felt too mechanical, but I never thought of this. All hail the editor!
Practicing will help you apply your skills. When you encounter fingering you're unsure about, everyone should think a little flexibly and figure it out. Okay, hurry and practice now.